Hello my stitchy friends, welcome back. My name is Laura, you found Lala D Stitches, and I'm so glad you're here with me. I'm excited for today's episode. It's a big one. It may come out in multiple parts just because I've had such excellent luck with uploading this year. Because they're always long. Today's episode is a WIP parade. It's the whole palooza, the whole shebang-a-lang. All my WIPs, with the exception of the 5 or 6 I have pulled out that I'm actively working on right now in rotation. I have a lot of WIPs. It's so much fun. I love having a lot of WIPs, and one of the things that I love about cross stitch and hobbies in general is that they're customizable, right? If you're a monogamous stitcher, that's awesome. I consider it sometimes. Or if you're like me, who, you know, it's funny, there was this gal, it's not funny what she did, but me, I'm funny. There was this gal 3 years ago who, I don't know if it was for her 40th birthday or what event it was, but she started 222 WIPs projects in a year, which, good for her, right? That's fun. That's super fun. And it took her like a year or so to kit everything up, and now she's been slowly whipping down. Well, I'm just pretending because it's not intentional. But we're just going to say that I'm working my way gradually to 220 WIPs, and then I'll work my way down. No, I'm not anywhere near that. I'm a solid 80 shy of that, I think-ish. But we don't really count. I don't really count. I just enjoy it. And I'm always more aware of how many I have after doing a WIP parade, and that's fine. It doesn't change the fact that I have 9 new Halloween starts kitted up. It's fun. It's all good. So yeah, let's just dive into it. I have it kind of divided into 4 categories. Okay, not 4 categories, 4 stacks. There are categories within the stacks this is my show notes here. And whether or not I break at the stacks and I just upload several different videos, or I keep going, we'll figure that out. I have a coffee date in a couple of hours, so no matter what, wherever I am in 2 hours, there will be a pause, a break of some kind. So we'll see how fast I rattle on. Maybe I'll just fly through them, and maybe I'll be a jabberjaw and, you know, talk forever. That's why I've got water. It's all good. If you like a shorter episode, just watch it in chunks. If you like a long one, settle in. Grab a libation of choice. Yeah, this will be fun. Okay, so first category. Oh, I should also say, in my rambles, not everything has been worked on. I know, because I have a plethora. I know a lot of people try to touch all of their WIPs in a year, and there are years I do that. This was not one of them. I knew going into the year, ironically, my plans have changed through the year, but we knew we had some big things happening this year, so I just didn't anticipate touching them all. So some things will look quite similar, if not exactly as they did last time you saw them. But my last WIP parade in January, to be fair, I only did spring and summer because we'd just done autumn and Christmas. So it was kind of a 50%er WIP parade. It was the easy parade. This is the buckle up kind of parade. Okay, that's enough preamble. Let's dive in. So the first category is stitch-alongs. I'm notorious for joining stitch-alongs, getting a pretty good start, and then falling off the bandwagon. It's fine. Now the question is how to get them from my stack onto my table. Somewhere around There. Okay, first stack. Okay, so the first one, I don't have the master picture printed out. But this was as are many of them, Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Sal. This was a couple years ago. Castle Homecoming. I have no board still. We're lacking in boardage. Where's a white book? I always look for a white book when I start my videos these days. One of these moments, I'll work my way over to the paper products category of a store and I'll actually get myself a board. Here, maybe this will work. Just some stability, right? If this is a folder, it's not a board. But, and if it's going to be see-through, then it won't ghost as much. All right, well, we'll just play with that. We'll see how that goes. So this is where I got to with Castle Homecoming. I was having a lot of fun with this. I have made some adjustments. I've added some extra skin colors to what was called for. And then I added the gold stitching, the sparkly gold is my addition. And then I made my dragon like, oh, I can't remember her name right now. Mad Madam Mim from, you know what I'm talking about. The Sword and Stone. Got it. It's in there somewhere. Anyways, this is the called for fabric. I think I bought a kit. It might have just been the pattern and the fabric because I already had DMCs and stuff. But I'm pretty sure I bought this with the project. So, super cute. Never quite made it to the like big tower, and then there's like this cool arch and background, and you know, there's a lot to go. But yeah. I am going to try to tuck these into their bags again after showing them to you, just to contain the chaos. Plus, if it's in the bag, I can kind of tuck it under the table here and sort them later. Okay, this is an old Frosted Pumpkin Stitch Along. This is called the Pumpkin Passport. This is the full picture. I bought a kit, so I've got the floss back here. And this was early days. This is one of my oldest WIPs. So it's on all the called for everything. It's really cute. But I'm pretty sure I started it in a year where our life was kind of, you know, discombobulated. So I got that far and then lost my mojo and have just never quite gotten back to it. I don't know, perhaps I need to just finish the top panel, because that wouldn't, though I love some of the bottom panel. Anyways, but maybe if I just finish the top panel, I could finish it that way and call it good with the words, since I've already done, you know, part of the border. But I don't know, we'll see. It's not calling to me at this point. In fact, this was a year I was allowing myself, to not work on any stitch-alongs, just because sometimes I feel like I should, and I really don't want any of my stitching to feel like a should this year or ever. So yeah, I was letting myself not. This one is really cute, all finished. I have the first part done. Another Frosted Pumpkin. I think this is last year's or the year before. Year before, because I don't think they did one last year. Anyways, Arctic Animals Stitch Along. Again, on the called for fabric, which is Nocturne by Picture This Plus. And my card says the floss is called for mostly. I don't know what that means. I don't think I ever got far enough to make any changes. But isn't he cute, jumping on the little vole there? And I love the water. It's so pretty. So pretty. Cute! Alright. Goodbye. Okay. Okay, this was last year Tiny Modernist Stitch Along. So cute. She got me with the unicorn. I dyed the fabric for this. It's an 18 count Aida. It is, I don't know, we'll see how it shows. It's a little light. I think that's why I stopped. There's like literally a hanging thread from the unicorn. It was just ghosting a little bit. All of the colors, spectacular. I'm stitching it with one thread over one Aida square, and they were so happy and so cute. And then I got to my unicorn and I was like, oh my gosh, it's not going to show up. Sadness. So, couple of options. I don't actually mind the frame ghosting a little bit, because it's supposed to be glass, right? It's the main event is what's inside of the greenhouse. Did I say what this is? Fantastical greenhouse. Oh, my brain is in mode. I'll settle in, no worries. So here is an option. Keep going, because really the unicorn is the biggest spot of white. Keep going with everything else and maybe pull out the unicorn. And the unicorn I stitched with 2 strands and perhaps it would show more. It really does ghost. Yeah, it's not just me. There's no unicorn. Or restart it, which would be sad, but I could just, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it will show more once the tail and mane are in. I don't know. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes things kind of look ghosty and then you add more elements and it pops more. I don't know. Anyways, I lost my mojo. Didn't keep going, even though it was cute and fun and the colors are joyful. But it was in predicament mode, so it's on hold. Shows better through the plastic. Isn't that ironic? Alright. Treasure Island by All Forced Embroidery. This is a free chart. They do their stitch alongs very generously for free. I got this far. I am picking my own floss as I go. And I was in a debate with myself over whether or not to make the figures reminiscent, like I'm not going to make them full Muppets, but reminiscent of the Muppet Treasure Island characters, or just stick with as charted. So I think if I made any changes to them at all, honestly, it would be Long John Silver. I'd just make sure his jacket was not red, but it is red in the movies. So maybe that would be my nod. And then the rest, I don't have the full picture printed. I just have the color chart. Anyways, I don't know. It's pretty. I coffee dyed this fabric. It's just an even weave of some sort. Anyways, it's cool. I just wasn't feeling it last year. And this year I'm not stitching stitch-alongs, so it'll have its moment. It'll be a cool one when it's done. It's beautiful. The island is really neat, and there's this gorgeous compass down at the bottom. Sorry for zippers. Okay. I do get myself into this, though, where I make changes to patterns, and then it takes longer to do it, to make all those decisions and be happy with it. And so sometimes it slows me down to the point where the season has changed and I'm more inspired by whatever I see. Whatever. This is another old WIP. This is Magical Creatures calendar by Clouds Factory. And this is so old that I was stitching the frame, not all of it, but some of it, when my sister was graduating from college. I remember being in the car and stitching on the frame. But it's another one I'm making my own changes on. My tree's a little ghosty. That's okay, he's a frosty guy. I feel like I'm missing a hoof on the centaur there. Anyways, this is a cute little gnome in a tree. And I am, there are months supposed to be in the chart, and I'm adjusting the chart. Like I need to add a couple like hearts or something over here, probably to fill that space. But I've been borrowing motifs from the design to fill in the negative space and omit the words. So it's just images. That's the word I'm looking for. So pretty. This is the prettiest frame. I love a good frame and border. If you want to see this done, Kelly of Pages and Stitches, that's pages 3 stitches, she's done. And we were softly stitching along together at one point because we'd both started it and we hadn't finished, and so, but she kept on with it and I abandoned her. Sorry, Kelly. Yours looks great. She also did customizations, so it's very different from mine, but it's really cool just to see, you know, the individuality between stitchers. I love it. Okay. Another Frosted Pumpkin Sal Cozy Cafe Club. This is not the full picture, obviously. Sorry for that. I used to print off all my digital charts, but it took so much ink to print the main pictures that I usually would do one and then let it go. This was, I bought the full kit, so DMC fabric, it's all it called for. This is how far I got. I have not worked on this in years. And maybe it's another one that I do one shelf of it and let it go, but maybe I'll do one shelf and then I'll get in the mood and keep going. Either way, it's adorable. And they're fun. I love the matcha cup and the little teacup. They're really cute. And somewhere down here there's like a barista style takeaway cup, and there are, you know, they get kind of fun and funky down at the bottom, but this is also back when I made thread books for my stitch alongs, so it lives in this, which is slick, but I don't put a full skein of floss in my projects anymore unless I buy a kit. I don't know, so I haven't made any more. Okay, last stitch along. This isn't really a stitch along. I think it was at one point. I never participated or was aware of it during that time, but it's a calendar. It's called Fantasy Sal, I want to say. It's by Doreen Jones, and it has this gorgeous border, which I drew the line on. I stitched the line on the outer edge. It's gonna have to be a soft finish. I was not particularly generous with my fabric allotments, maybe. Anyways, when I was first stitching, again, when I came back to stitching, I was cheap about it. And I still can be sometimes, but I'm generally more generous than I was. Anyways, so it's going to get squished on there, but there's, you know, just under an inch. It's enough for a soft finish. It's going to be great. And they're so cute. I can't believe I've abandoned this one so hard. The border's gorgeous. There's a lot of back stitching, but you can see it's the magic sauce. It just gives definition and detail and whimsy, and I love it. That dragon is gorgeous. The colors are so pretty too. It's cute. It's cute. This is on, I haven't been saying the fabrics, or I have on some. I guess they've been mostly kits. This is a 28 count Jubilee, which, while it's not big enough, technically, if you wanted to frame it, it is lovely to stitch on. Has nice weight without being stiff or tight. It's lovely to stitch on. Okay. Next. So now we go into spring, which is really spring, nature, flowers, vibes. Oof. Can I do this without banging my head? You guys. can. I'm so good at life. I am so happy today. I don't know why. I think my company left a couple days ago, and while it was lovely to have them here, it was a long haul and very busy. It wasn't your typical visit with my sister having a baby and stuff, and woof, I was just so tired. And then I have so much to do this week before we go out of town next week. But today, I don't know if I just slept better or what. I feel good. Maybe it's my shower. Showers help. Okay, this is a random kit that I found. It's not in the kit section. It should be. I have all 4 of the petite lighthouses. I've stitched one to completion, and then this was my second, and I was running into hand weakness getting 4 strands through. So this is where I am, and I've been too chicken to come back to it. Which is terrible, because it's beautiful when it's done. I mean, it's gonna be so pretty. And I have 2 more to go, and then I could hang them all together and it'd be cute. But yeah, that's how far I got. There's a lot of fiddly counting too. It'll get easier as there's more there though. Anyway, super cute. Dimensions Gold Petites are no joke. You think, oh, they're small, no big deal. Oh no, I swear they like enhance the difficulty level just because it's small. They're like, we're not gonna let you off that easily. Okay, so this is a project that comes from a book that's deep in a different stack. With the sci-fi stuff. It is called Cross Stitch Happy. You'll see it. Anyways, I was going to stitch, there are 12 bugs, and I was going to stitch like 9 of them. And this is how far I got. I think, with the exception of maybe a color or 2 in this, they're complete. I'm not adding the months. But here's the dealio. I came to a stop, even though these are super fun, pretty colors, easy stitching. I love Gara, the designer, who wrote the book, designed the book. But here's the thing. I have seen XO Needle in the Hay XO on Instagram, and she has been stitching these tiny. They're so cute. They're so cute. So I don't know, like a 20 count Ada, or I'm restarting. So I need to finish the little bits and bobs I've missed on February, and then maybe I'll make like a needle book. That would be super cute with this. And then I'm gonna start them over because I want miniature ones. Naturally. Everything's cuter when it's smaller, right? Let's sigh. They're super fun to stitch though, and I haven't even gotten to my favorite ones. Okay, the Blue Flower is one of my favorite designers. I was doing okay-ish on this, definitely making some progress, if not fast progress. And then she released In Praise of Pollinators, and I completely fell off the bandwagon. So maybe next year will be my butterfly here or something, because I love this. And look how it's not big. Oh, it's so cute. And this is on a something count. Mystery. Oh, here we go. 32 count J by Picture This Plus. I think this would make the prettiest pillow. Sorry, I'm wiggling it around so much. That's so annoying. There you go. So pretty. I love her. Next spring. For sure. I am definitely, if you're new with me, I shouldn't say definitely, I should say predominantly, because I've kind of flexed my rules a little bit this year, pirate style. But I'm predominantly a seasonal stitcher. So you know, I move along. And yeah, and that's good. It works for me. Window in the Garden by Little Room in the Attic. It's so pretty. And I pulled this out and thought, oh, that was the whole thought. There's not a ton there, but look at the colors. They are so fresh and crisp and clean on this boring cream Lugana, which is absolute perfection, because what should stand out is this beautiful design. Oh, I love it. I love her designs. They're complicated. They're kind of a brain teaser, but that's not a bad thing. I think she does. So she used to sell on Etsy. That discontinued with the onset of the Ukrainian war. I believe she does have a site somewhere, but I don't know it. So these are just old goodies that I had from before. I have a couple more of hers. One is this beautiful umbrella with a little like chickadee bird on top of it. So cute. So cute. She has the best watercolor kind of effect. This is Greenhouse from the Fabulous House series by Cottage Garden Samplings. I was collecting these and trying to start all of them. I knew I wasn't going to keep up because that just isn't how I stitch. But I was trying to start all of them for a few months, and then we moved. So that didn't continue. But I do have all of the houses, and I think it would be really fun to stitch them and mount them on the same size board and kind of have like a magneted swap out system of some kind. Anyways, super cute. This is on 28 count Lugana Lunar Moth from Bestitch Me with the called for DMCs. It's so pretty. Just the delicate scroll work in the greenhouse. Ah, killing me, Smalls. Do I have a bag for this? I'm gonna put it in there. That'll work. Then we can save these plastic baggers. Okay, plastic down here. Sorry, just reorganizing my life here. Okay, save that to go into the next one. Since they have the same fabric as their background. This is Spring Picnic. Started this, I don't know, last year. It doesn't really matter. Didn't work on it this spring. I think it's adorable. It's from Bog Dragon Crafts. I did find it on Etsy. The watermelon has a face. It's so cute. I have a small start on the same Bestitch Me Lugana. So that is called Lunar Moth. It's just so soft and lovely. And I love Bestitch Me fabrics. So that's my start. That vase there with the tulips in it. Sometimes you just need the happy, fresh colors. And it sits in a sushi bag because that felt appropriate. All right. Sorry, zipper. There will be zippers. Okay. This wasn't. I'm shedding. Okay. Lily's chickens. Could they be any cuter? With all the bees floating around. Ah! I love that part. And how she's looking down at her hen. She's the sweetest. I started this as soon as I got it in the mail from Market this year on a 20 count Ada. I want to say it's a 5er on a whim. I don't know where my tag went, but that's how far I got. My tiny stitching is very slow. I get pretty significant migraines, and so 20 count Ada is my attempt to stitch tiny. And some days it works and some days it doesn't. But I sure love it. They're so delicate. I mean, the whole stocking is going to be like that big. How cute will that be? So sweet. I am using, I believe, let me double check before I commit my words to this, mostly the called for colors. I have subbed 1, 2, 3. just out of stash. It makes me want to stitch all of Teresa Kogut's stockings though. I have 2 Santa or wintry stockings, the Swan and then the Santa, Midnight Santa, that was released at last year at the Jingle Ball. And I love, this isn't Teresa Kogut, but I think it's Carriage House, isn't it? That has like the big whale coming up at the ship. That one's so cool. I need a collection of stockings apparently. This is the bag it lives in. We're as happy as we make up our minds to be. Cute. Old cross stitch I did. Turned it into a bag. This was a 12 by 12 start, and I'll just show it like this because I think I can cover the pattern. Comes from Sewing Club. I was supposed to work on it in June again. Did not. That's okay. The Pear, Ripe Pear by Blackbird Designs. I'm stitching this on 32 count linen from Bestitch Me, not another sampler. It is lovely, and I would love to make this little needle book. I'll just have needle books all over my world. Isn't it lovely? Doing a color conversion just from stash, and yes, it's beautiful. I think for 12 by 12 this year, I'll just pull out all the projects I started last year and have like a WIP 12 by 12. I think that makes sense to me. Okay, I don't know if I ever showed this one, you guys. I think it was a super secret start unintentionally, but I pulled it out and I was like, oh. Yeah, I remember starting that, sort of. Oh my gosh, this bag is so cute, but it does take a little bit of manhandling to get a big pattern like this in. So this is Garden of Quilts by Lori Holt. I saw everybody stitching it this spring and I got FOMO and thought this would be so cute in my sewing room, my studio, because I'm a quilter and a cross stitcher, and I fell in love with this little pansy patch, A Stitcher's Rules, which I did not start. It's just sitting in here with a potential conversion to match this one. So this is on 20 count 8 again, which is probably why it has a small start. Maybe why I chickened out on showing it. It looks like a Christmas tree. It's not. It's a flower on a bobbin, obviously. Just started in the center. And yeah, that's how far I got. It'll be so cute. It'll be so cute. I don't know what my fabric is. It might be like Cream and Sugar. By Fiber on Island. Do I have a tag? I am good. Look at that. Proof. Fiber on a Whim, Cream and Sugar, 20 count Ada. In my cute little sewing bag with geese and bunnies. It's so cute. My dear friend Jill came over. She was so lovely and flew down to see me and spend some time down here with me, and it was so much fun. We had a blast for a few days this spring, and so I made a couple of these bags, and this one was mine. Anyways, like I said, it's kind of a squish to get that big pattern in there, but it does. And it has a sewing machine bobble, which I don't normally do, but look how cute that is. Okay. May Iris by Luca S. Gold. This was a gift from my mother. I'm using the called for floss, but I have swapped the fabric for Water Lily by Witcholt, and I was obsessed the year I started this. I didn't work on it this year, but honestly, the first quarter of this year, even into May, was unexpectedly challenging. So my stitching was not what it has been in other years, and that's okay. This will be delightful to pull out again next year. It is so beautiful. So, so beautiful. And I can hardly wait to get, you know, the butterflies and, so pretty. And there is some back stitching that will add dimension further dimension. Zipper. Okay. The Enchanted Garden by Joan Elliott. Another one I have not worked on yet. Well, I have not and will not be working on this year because spring is past and once it's sprung, I'm done. That's where I am. There is backstitching to be done. And I know I've mentioned it before, but it still boggles my brain that our little red mushroom is so brown. It'll be interesting to see how perception of that continues as I get more brown shades in there, because there are some dustier browns. Perhaps it will pop a bit more into the orange range. Doesn't matter either way. I like brown mushrooms too, but my brain definitely read that as red. Anyway, super cute. It's delightful. Little fairies with their rabbit. Okay, garden sampler. I thought I would finish this one this year, but I've moved my furniture several times for a couple of different reasons. And I think it just got lost in the hullabaloo because I haven't worked on it. I might have worked on it earlier this spring, but because I seem to recall having done the rain cloud and the bee bones and the grasshopper bones or something like that, but not much more. Anyways, garden sampler, but carriage house samplings, stitching on 27 count lunar even weave by Bestitch Me with the called for DMCs. And it's so pretty. It's so fresh and lovely and everything pops, which is very satisfying. This is cozy stitching. I was actually working on this in the airport when we were looking for the house we're living in right now when we moved to Utah. So it's a traveled project. Okay. The Herbalist by Looong. There is a companion to this called The Collector. It's everything I can do to not buy another piece of oaken Ada and start it. But these sweet pixelated designs have a lot of details to them, so they take a little moment to stitch, especially when you flub and have to stitch half of it again. Oh, it was such magic to start filling in the shapes. Ooh. It's so cute. 18 count Ada. Oaken. Picture this plus. Called for DMCs. I love her. So cute. Back in your house. Okay. This one is a little out of order, but because I normally associate farms in full bloom with summer. This is Farm Life by Little House Needleworks. I am stitching with a little bit of a conversion, it looks like, because I've got all the notes. On Vintage Country Mocha. This is where it sits. Oh, it's so cute. I love Little House Needleworks. They're such comfort stitching. They're easy and great colors and cute designs, and the houses are satisfying but not overwhelming. Oh, so cute. I love how the flowers are all wonky doodle. Isn't that how gardens should be? And the bluebirds. Cute. That one's fun. All right. This is working. This is Spring Traditions sampler by Tiny Modernist. I'm stitching it on a mystery linen. We're not sure the count. I have tried counting the threads, and every time I do, it's different. So it's just a mystery and a mystery, but it is cute. I worked on the border, and I did this upper picture this spring. Ah, I love it. There isn't a thing about this chart I don't love. It's just charming. So, so cute. Spring has all the fresh colors, doesn't it? Okay, The Glad Sun by the Blue Flower has a very small start. I am stitching it on 36 count Sprite by Picture This Plus with the called for flosses. And that's where we are. Just some bones. Isn't this this fabric gorgeous? What a delicate lilac. It's just, I love it. So, so pretty. It'll be even prettier with more colors on it. Also, my picture is super shiny because it's stuck to my vinyl front bag. I learned that lesson. Tuck the picture in the back. Otherwise they stick to the vinyl. I love a vinyl front bag, but I have had a couple of my photos stick. That one came off okay, but they don't all. This one's kind of squishy. That's okay. It's Tula fabric. Okay, In the Greenhouse by Mojo Stitches. I stitched in the library. And it was so beautiful that when I saw this one drop, whenever that was, I snatched it up. Small start. Well, solid start. That's a solid start. Yeah. This is on 32 count navy bean. And I must have stitched in the library on a 28 count because I swear this is smaller. But it's basically the same shape. That's okay. We don't mind tiny things. Oh no! A rogue needle. I was trying to reclaim all of my needles as I was going through these. Because everything in this chunk of the WIP Parade will not get worked on until next year. Unless there's a reason to pull it out. Rose Fairy, Sew to Stitch. I started stitching this one to join a stitch along. It was my first soda or something like that. But I oriented my fabric incorrectly. And so it's been, I definitely did not keep up with the stitch along. Not that there's a termination date to it. But it is cute. The back stitching will definitely be the magic sauce on this. So I need to do the belly and the tail on the bird, and then it's just all of the fauna around them, and that butterfly. I don't know, still a bit to go. I was thinking I would finish this for my niece for Christmas or something like that, and not this year. She's 3, she doesn't care. Maybe I'll try to have it done when she's 5. And maybe I'll put it on like a backpack or something that she could use, because I don't know. How much does a toddler look at the walls? Maybe more than I think. She Mad Hatter Dreams by Barbara Anna. Stitching this on a 28 count steel gray linen. I love a good Alice in Wonderland stitch. The colors in this are really rich. Cute. Still quite a bit to go. But I keep getting distracted, so I stitch my Alice's in February because Queen of Hearts Valentine's Day. I don't know. But I keep getting distracted by other like Alice designs, like this one, Alice in Wonderland Tree by Tiny Modernist. I'm stitching it with a small conversion on, I think this is feldspar. I did not write it down. Yes, I did. 32 count feldspar from Pictures Plus. I adjusted the Cheshire Cat to match the Disney animation version. And then I have swapped that solid green for a bit more of a stripe effect, which I wasn't sure if I liked it until I started getting more stuff in, and I was like, yes, that's definitely Wonderland vibes. Super cute. Alright, tuck these in my folder. I wonder where that lived. Don't seem to have a bag for spring traditions. Oh heavens. That's fine. I have a folder for my Alice. Cute. Alright, Bella Filipina, the Mad Tea Party. Stitching this on a 28 count Ada, or 14 count Ada, different with Ada. It's called something magical. It's from Fabrics by Steph. Here we go. Busy Izzy. And made good progress on her this year. Added her head and shoulders and the start of her hat, which is pretty exciting. This fabric is perfect. I love it. I love it. I should probably watch my watch. Oh my land. It's okay. We've got time. A little bit. No. Hang in there. Okay. We're almost through our first stack. I knew this would be long. Gara, the Lady and the Unicorn. It's a full coverage puppy on, I think it's 25 count potato, which I love stitching on. But I did run into a dye lot change in my DMC, my background. It's very subtle. We're leaving it. We'll just call it aging. This side sat closer to the window on my tapestry. Anyways, it's so good. Not huge, just full coverage. I didn't work on her yet this year. Another needle. Unacceptable. Okay. Yes. Another tapestry, Unicorn Tapestry by Tiny Modernist this time. I am doing a floss conversion, which you'll see here in a moment. And I have a small but solid start on it. For a second, it showed up pretty good, and then it washed out. This is the most lagoon, gorgeous color. Oopsie. It's called Lock. 32 count Lock from Pictures Plus linen. So I've swapped, you can see in the flag, some overdyeds in there. And I love it so far. Fun, 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 fun. Okay, in their unicorn folder, which is shared. This one is a Ruby Star unicorns. So good. a black and white rendition of The Last Unicorn, which I am doing a full conversion on. I'm stitching on it this plum. It's a bit more violet than plum, probably. It's kind of both, though. I used a couple different purples. I dyed this. And it's kind of washed out on camera. But it's one of my first attempts at dyeing purple fabric. And, you know, there you go. The unicorn shows much better than on the previous fabric I had chosen. Yeah. Again, I usually work on my unicorns in like March for like a magical March kind of thing. And this year was just funky, so I didn't get much, if any, work done on most of them. This is Unicorn Blue Flowers. And I just have the softest outline of her head structure there and her ear. Which is very ghosty, but you can see she's mostly those beautiful blues, and there's tons of backstitch. This is by, well, I don't want to butcher it. 3 point to quoi? I don't know. Should not be so chicken about my French, but anyways, there it is. I'm stitching it on. It's definitely Bestitch Me Lugana. Oh, here's the floss colors. Ooh, aren't they pretty? So pretty. With my unicorn snips, of course. This little mess is the other colors for the last unicorn. So that'll be pretty too. When it's more than a ghost of unicorn. Okay. Tuck it. Okay, we're just gonna tuck it like this. Good enough. Oh wait, we've got another unicorn to go in here. Okay, this is the sprouting lupin part of the unicorn tour. Unicorn's Garden, which I had to pull out the entire fence and most of the tree. That was a bit devastating, but we figured it out. This is on that lock linen again, which shows up so much. The marbling is so much heavier in camera than it is in person. I mean, it's definitely there, but it's not as distracting, I guess, in person. Anyways, as you can see, the tree is in, and I've added a few leaves, and we are moving on. So life is good again. Colors are so pretty in it. I love that chart. I was thrilled last year when she dropped the Garden of Shadows. Now we just need like a frosty winter garden. That would be good, right? Oh, so cute. I did dye fabric for this one. It's a 28 count or 32 count. I don't know. Scrap of linen I had that I over dyed. It's a little darker in person, but it's gonna be great. It is time to pull this one out again. I might not tuck that back into the stacks, actually, because here, you join those guys, and I think it was here. Yeah, it's that time of year for a bit more a spooky dooky stitching. I can sit there, that's fine. This unicorn bag features Tula Pink because of course my unicorns must live in corresponding bags. This will definitely get a little bit of work this coming month. Teresa Wentzler unicorn, which is like intense, and it's on a dark fabric. I did over dye this. It was a Bestitch Me Lugana that came, and it was like a bright orange that I would never use, and so I over dyed it, and got this, and this is my start on the tree up in the dark shadowy corner. But this has blends and quarter stitches, and it is, the dark fabric is darker. I don't know if I can get it to, that's a little better. Can't you see it? Yeah, I need good lighting. I need to be sitting here right now to stitch on this, actually. This is good lighting today. Anyways, it's beautiful. It might take me a decade to stitch it, but worth it. Actually, let's put Garden of Shadows in with this unicorn guy. That way they're in the same bag. And we've got to grab our floss for Garden of Shadows. There we go. Look at the colors in that one. So good. Okay, we're going to tuck that one safely over there. And the last, but not the least unicorn, I will have to pop in a picture if I remember to go back and edit this after the hours that are yet to come. But this is Sweater Unicorn by Etsy. It's all in Russian. Oh, fiddle. Well, apparently my info sheet does not contain the info I need at this moment. Anyway, here's my start. It's the cutest little unicorn in a sweater. And he's probably like that tall. He's not huge. I just haven't worked on him since I started him. Because it's not winter. Alright. Tuck that in there. And toss it there. Okay, that is the first stack. We're just under an hour. The next we go into is Fancy Ladies, Summer, and so on. So I'm just debating whether I want to like cut it off and then post separate videos. I'm gonna keep going. We'll try to do like feature length presentations. How about that? We'll try to get halfway through. I've got about an hour before I have to go. So we're gonna keep chugging. Next stack is in a basket. Oh no, this is gonna be Kerminus. Okay. These stacks are so much bigger. We're just gonna make me feel better here because, not that I feel bad, but they're ginormous because I have their project bags sitting with them. I swear I fit my whole WIP Parade in a basket last time, but I did not have the project bags with them. I had stacked them off to the side somewhere. Anyways, all the information you needed to know, right? Mirabilia. So we're going into Fancy Ladies, which I have not worked on with the exception of one this year. Or last year, really. I love Fancy Ladies. I actually quite enjoy stitching them. I love stitching them, but I just haven't been feeling them for some reason the last year or so. Anyways, this is Blossom. I just love her color palette. She's so beautiful. So beautiful. And I'm stitching her on another Fabrics by Steph, Ada. I think that's why I'm not flying through this one because it's not, it's super easy on the Ada. But it is a 14 count Ada instead of a 32. I ordered the wrong size. And I have small concerns about the beads. Oh my gosh, isn't it pretty? I wish you could see like this petally pinky lavender color is so subtle, but it's stronger in person than it's showing up. Anyways, it's beautiful. The colors pop off of it. It's just the wrong count. And so my main concern is the beads. Are they going to drown in the holes, and then we have air around them. I don't know. I'm not so far into it that it might not be worth a restart, but it kind of makes me sad because it's so beautiful. I don't know. Maybe this is one that but the beads would be so good on her. I was going to say that I substitute beads for stitching on, because you could do that. You could match the colors, stitch the X's where beads are, and move on with your life. But I don't know. It's something to think about. I don't know what to do with that one, but she's beautiful. I love everything about her except for the size. Unfortunately. Okay. Floral Dreams, Nora Corbett, which is Mirabilia, just the smaller, they're typically smaller charts. She is so beautiful. I'm stitching her on jade. Picture this plus jade, which never shows. She is so gloriously jewel toned. And she looks so faded. But cameras aren't nice to this color. So there she is. I've got her puddle of blanket. And then there's a big arch around her. Like so. She's so pretty. I love her. But again, I'm just not in a moment that I'm drawn to them. So that's okay. They'll wait for me. They'll still be here. No worse for wear. Good thing about WIP Parades is I do press softly my projects for WIP Parades so they hopefully won't crease. I know some people will store their projects like hanging in a closet or flat in a big box under their bed or something. I've considered that, but it'll be fine. I haven't had any serious problems yet, knock on wood, right? The Fairy Moon, excuse me, by Mirabilia. This is one of her older charts. I snatched it up the moment I saw it on the secondhand market like a greedy dragon, and found this glorious purple fabric. It's called Macbeth. Don't know who the dyer is, though. I just have the name. Anyways, she's going to be a stunner on this fabric. It's not quite as, it's reading more bright. It's a little bit more muted, but it's beautiful. Oh, it's so pretty. Look at that corner. I don't even know if that corner will be part of it, but I love it. Oh, I might get framed right out of there, but I don't know. I started this one just to start it. I don't think I've worked on it more than once. That's okay. Oh my goodness. Technical difficulties. There we go. Saving myself. Sorry for the lulls. I mean, I do kind of just chatter and whatever. Oh! So, remember what she looked like? Now she's in a bag. You don't. But one of the reasons, other than that she's just stunning, that I loved her is because I figured my Mirabilias are pretty boring to look at. There's not a ton of stitching on most of them. In fact, one of them has like 30 stitches. It's a sad excuse for a start. But I have finished one. This was my first big finish, my first big Mira finish. This is Stargazer. And I figured I'd just toss her into the middle since she was easily accessible, and isn't she gorgeous? I love her so much. Which may be a direct quote from the first time I showed her completely finished, but I don't care. Because it remains true. She's beautiful. She is beautiful. So, proof I do actually finish them on occasion. We'll lay her back there. Okay, moving on. Lavender and Lace, Earth Angel. She is so beautiful. And whenever I need to just feel kind of grounded and peaceful, I pull her out because she is as peaceful and serene to stitch on as she looks. This is on 28 count feldspar. And she'll fill most of this piece of fabric. I wasn't as generous with my margins on this one, but I think it's what I had, and I loved her on it. I loved the floss toss on it. So beautiful. So we went with it. She's gorgeous. I usually work on her in January. I can hardly wait to get to the earth though, and there's this rush of roses and flowers that she kind of sits in, and that'll add a lot of color and dimension. This is Princess Eliana. Stitching on 32 count linen. I think it's Blue Jay, but I don't know. It doesn't say. Anyways. Oops, I think that's upside down. Cute. Which again, this is another one that shows the marbling looks far more dynamic in the screen than it does to the human eye. Like, it's not as white. It's more blue into blue. But the colors are saturated and stunning, and she's beautiful. At some point I should probably pick up a bead pack for her so that I don't get too far down the road and then the beads aren't available, because she has a truckload of beads. But she's worth it. Gosh, she's pretty. Okay, here's my super thrilling start that I thought I would work on this summer. But then I moved all of my furniture around and I actually lost her. She wasn't actually lost, but I could not find her to save my life. This is Queen Anne's lace, which I'll just do that. Wow. I know. You've never been so impressed in your life. She'll get love one of these days. It'll happen. It could happen. Another moonflowers this time. She's lovely. And I'm working on a 32 count My Little Dove linen. I want to say it's an extru linen, but I could be wrong. And I have an arm. This is another one that I started probably during a Mira May, and I had everything, so I was like, I'm just gonna start her. But then it's like she gets 1 minute. That's okay. It'll make it so easy to pick up when I come back to it, honestly, right? Oh no. Oh, that might be an illusion. Okay, anyways. Yeah, it'll make her suit super easy to come back to when I am ready to actually dive into the deep end with her. Have those first few stitches. Starting is a whole different game than stitching. It's like its own marathon. Because you have to count to the center, and you have to, or wherever you're starting, and you have to find your floss, and you have to make sure your fabric's big enough, which, speaking of, is my fabric big enough? This is going to be a sad story. So this is, who is she? Woodland Fairy. She's so beautiful. Like, just classically elegant. And I have her on this fabulous pink. And I was ironing her this morning, and I thought, oh my gosh, she looks awfully close to the top to have all of these extra feathers and bits coming up. She's not going to fit. So I thought we could mourn together for a moment. Wow. It's so sad because I had had such skepticism over Like when I did the floss toss, I loved everything. And then I started stitching her skirt and I was like, ew, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And then I stitched farther up and got her face and I was like, yes, this is going to be great. Trust the process. And now she doesn't fit. So I don't know, you know, what I was smoking when I cut that fabric, but that's sad. That's going to have to be a restart. I'm going to have to find different fabric and start over. Oh, woe is me. And unfortunately, the same is, so it's going to not go back into Gen Pop. The same story is true for my Lily of the Woods, who, if you want to see us finish, go watch Andrew the Runner Stitcher. You should be watching him anyways. He's fabulous. But he finished her and she's gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. I was stitching her on Highland by Picture This Plus. We'll just hold it up like this. So lovely, earthy, soft. I mean, she would have been gorgeous. But again, this is this brand, this right there. I know I'm like far away. Here we go. So it's up there. There's a whole bunch more. So I think when I measured it, it was going to be within, I don't know, maybe like it basically comes up to so. To heck with that. Disappointing. So, like, cue the sad commercials from the 90s. In the arms of an angel. That is sad. Oh well, whatever. I'm stuck. I'll get past it. I need a drink. It's gonna be okay. Lord knows I have enough to work on. Enchanted Aurora by Joan Elliott. I gasped out loud the first time I saw this. Instantly bought it, kitted it up on this glorious Picture This Plus, whatever it is. What is it called? I swear I have it written down. Phantom, we think. Maybe. It has a question mark by it. So that's helpful. Sorry. It's so big. Not that my stitching is big, but I want you to see the whole fabric because it's so good. It's like the Aurora, which is what her dress is like. So it's, oh no, that was not smart to use as my structure. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, she's so good. And that owl is just gonna like pop. Everything pops. It's so gorgeous. It is challenging. The colors are so close together. I get lost a lot. And, you know, that's okay. But also, it is Phantom. It's confirmed. How have I struggled for so long when it's right there? Did I find that and tuck it there? I don't know. I swear we didn't know what it was called for the longest time, and there's the literal tag. Cute. Welcome to my floss tube. That was the loudest zipper ever. So, moving on, because WIP Parade. Earth Goddess by Joan Elliott. I didn't work on her last year. I got distracted by Lady of the Thread, which you'll see shortly, unless she's in the autumn section. That's how far I am. This is on that Water Lilies by Witchelt again, which I think I had a large piece of it, which is why I've got a couple projects on. I would probably pick something a little different if I were kitting it up now, because I did this years ago, but I'm too far in to turn back. So she's gonna be grand. She'll be lovely on her water lily linen. She does have some beads through her dress, so I should probably see if I have something that will work for that. After doing Stargazer, I did have extra beads, so it'll be awesome. Oh, this one I almost didn't include because it's practically a restart. This is Thanksgiving Harvest Fairy. I did the trick or treat or Halloween fairy. She has a little jack-o'-lantern bag she holds. A couple years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I don't know, a while ago. Loved it. Stitched it up super quick. Just adored it. Saw this one, grabbed it, and I have this gorgeous parchment linen from Fiber on a Whim, which is washing out in the camera naturally, but you'll see if you look closely there are holes that are bigger through the middle. That is because I have ripped it out twice now. So is that the problem? Am I smarter now than I was 2 years ago? So the color was wrong. I don't even have the flosses in here because that's how dejected I was about everything. I have one package of beads. I was going along and the color that was called for in the middle was so light it almost read white. And now I'm seeing here, if that is in fact the symbol, let me double check, I've got the pattern right here. It's a blend. No, it's not. See, I'm not crazy. So it's still too light. So this color, since the model was stitched, this torso bodice color is so fair, so light, so faint. It is the lightest, whitest lilac you've ever seen in your life. And I have struggled to find a color that works. I've tried a couple. Anyways, it's in cold storage right now because until I find the right floss, I'm not going any farther. So there you go. Gaia, the Earth Goddess, on the other hand, is glorious, fantastic, stunning. She's so beautiful. I'm stitching her on this epic fabric, which I just adore. She's a little blendy right now, but she won't be, trust me. This is Fortnite Fabrics Mind Blowing. Ah. Oh my gosh, and I've just started on the water lilies like wings. They're almost like antler branch wings that come out behind her. Oh, so beautiful. I don't know if you can see, the color change is subtle but rich in there. And that's where it's going to start to pull. All these purples will make sense. There's also a pool around her feet of that deep color as well. And I was trying to stitch through her skirt and get down to that and kind of anchor her, but I got bored with all the yellow. So last year when I pulled her out, or whenever I pulled her out last, I tried to work on a different part of her so that it would renew the enthusiasm. And it did. I really enjoyed. I'm pretty sure I added like her head and her hair last time I stitched on it, which also helps, you know. Headless goddesses are less exciting than those with heads. This is Fairy Flora, which I had seen stitched on a beautiful soft background on the Facebook group, Mirabilia Facebook group. So I chose this vintage butterscotch, which is a printed linen. It's this soft yellow. And while I think the color is gorgeous, I don't like how it feels, which is funny because it's essentially the same thing as Vintage Country Mocha and the Smoky Quartz, is it called? Same thing, but those don't bother me. Something about the yellow one, I don't know if it has to be thicker. I don't know. Anyways, she may get a restart because I don't like her linen, even though she's stitching beautifully on it. We will see someday. Oh, we don't want a picture at the front. There we go. Okay. Because she lives in a vinyl bag. An old vinyl bag. This is one of my oldest vinyl bags. I didn't even catch the corner because I was just trying to teach myself how to machine bind things. Cute. Okay. Lavender by Nora Corbett. You know that, you can see it. She was a birthday start a couple years ago. And I flew through this first chunk of her skirt. And I have had the hardest time finding the Krynick that goes with her. So all of this like 1920s hanging down section, this whole panel of her skirt, so this hole here, it's all Krynick. Yeah, I've just had a hard time finding. I think the outline of her wings is also Krynick. So she's kind of been on hold. And to be fair, I have not been particularly proactive about searching for it because I'm not terribly concerned right now. Like I said, I've kind of been on a fancy lady hiatus, shall we say. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. That's one of the reasons I stopped. This was another birthday start. I think it was the same day, the same year. I just wanted to start the fairies. Stitching her on this gorgeous, I think it's a seraphim linen. Do I have the info? Yeah, Witching Hour. Ugh, so beautiful. The contrast is fantastic. Okay, so this is what it is. This is why I didn't go farther on her. Again, it's kind of the blending filament thing. So they stitched theirs on a white. They used just the blending filament after confabs and double checking and reading the pattern as closely as I could. They used just the blending filament in this neckline of the kimono. And it is fine on the sample, which you probably won't be able to see because it won't focus on anything but my mug here. It just looks like it's a bit airy and sheer, and you're seeing like maybe part of her shoulder, right? But because I'm stitching this on a darker fabric, for me, the stitches just look holy. And it's not showing particularly great. Like, it's okay in camera, but I don't care for it. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to, in the end, when I come back to this, I'm going to pull out, I just have it in 3 little spots here. I'm going to pull out the Krynick, which will be a pain in the patootie, but fine. And then I'm going to do 1 strand of a matching color and 1 strand of filament and stitch that way, because I have been stitching, I guess I haven't been saying this, almost everything I stitch is 2/2. And I think that will just, it'll give a little bit of sheen, a little bit of sparkle, but then we're not seeing the blue of, or blue-gray of the fabric bleed through on a spot that's supposed to be her chest. So I think that's why it bothered me, and that's why I haven't worked on it anymore, even though the colors are fantastic, and she's so beautiful all stitched up. I've seen finishes on her, and there isn't a bad one out there. She's just gorgeous. Also, this blending filament, ew, it's just icky. I don't like it, but it's okay. It's gonna be worth it. Okay, we're almost through the fancy ladies. It's so funny, I have so many of them to not be in the mood to stitch them right now. That's okay. This is Nantucket Rose by Lavender and Lace. She is, you could call her my first fancy lady. I found the pattern and this fabric, she was not started, at an estate sale over almost 20 years ago. And I started her years later. I don't think I started her until the pandemic. But when I was truly and fully in the deep end of stitching again, I got into stitching. I learned to stitch when I was a child, and then stitch a few things, you know, through my school years. Then I got married and didn't stitch, and divorced and didn't stitch, and then I kind of came back to it a few years after being remarried again, and yeah, and I've never looked back. I've never looked back. It's fabulous. I love it so much. Anyways, this is where I am. I definitely need to work on that full coverage beast of a skirt and all that white, which I think is what I had started building down, and that's where I am. She's so beautiful. Even in her not fully finished state, it's such an elegant pattern. Really, really beautiful. My mother is stitching her. I'm pretty sure she is done with the dress, which is like, now you get to do the fun part. Just do it. I need to see it done so I'm inspired. All right, last but not least is the Snow Maiden. I can make my hands work, which I'm stitching on 32 count Pansy. She's so pretty. Oh, she's so pretty. I love her. She's so different because of her, you know, white, kind of ethereal skin. She looks truly fae in a way that other, you know, goddesses and stuff don't necessarily. Especially in Nora Corbett's stuff, she tends to stick with Caucasian people. So it's kind of fun to have a different vibe going on. Anyways, I love this, and I love the water lily that's used down in this part, the hexagon part of the skirt. Ah, it's so good. Lots of beads on her, to the point where I'd considered beading as I go, but I don't think I will. Because even though it's a lot of work to do it all at the end, there is something, it's kind of like backstitching. It's a lot of work, but it brings everything to life, so it feels like time well spent. It's all time well spent. There's no bad time here. Okay, so that was Fancy Ladies. We've got half an hour. Let's try to do at least the summer section here. And then that might be a good breaking point, because then we really get into things you haven't seen in a year. They're the happy things. I mean, these are beautiful and lovely, and we haven't even gone through my samplers. I really went on a deep dive with samplers once I got into those. It's pretty fun. Summer. Okay. So that's not that bad. Summer. I enjoy summer. It's not my favorite season. I'm a cold weather person. This is Carriage House Samplings, Shores of Hawkrun Hollow. I've got to keep showing things while I talk, otherwise we'll never make it. This one I was going to stitch the full thing on. And then, I don't know why, I think I got overwhelmed by it. Not aided by the fact that I pick it up, you know, for a month, once every other year. Anyway, so I thought I would trim it down and do this layout. I did some arts and crafts here to come up with that genius thing. And actually it's a pretty good layout. Looking at it, that's not bad. It's not bad. I had thought before I saw this that my ship was up here and the other two were there, but I guess it makes sense. I don't know. This is one of my least favorite blocks. I wish this was that. But I am too far into it to rip all of that out. I am doing a color conversion to overdyes with this. Anyways, it's a whole thing, and it's not gotten any love. This fabric is gorgeous. It's R&R Fog Lifter. It's the softest, like, dove blue. It's really pretty. Anyways, I like it. I think it's just one of those patterns, and I talked about this a few videos ago, where I love watching other people work on things, but sometimes when a lot of people work on the same thing, even if it's one I have underway actively, if I see it a whole bunch, I kind of get my juices sated, I guess, by seeing them work on it. And so I'm less enthused to work on it myself, for myself. Does that make any sense? I think that's one of the things that happened with Shores. I think that's one of the things. This is a small but decent start. This is Country Seasons by Prairie Schooler, the Prairie Schooler. I can speak. And I have fabric cut for all 4 seasons. I am doing a color conversion. Let's put it there. So this is summer. This is what I did last year. And I thought I would just like whip these out every season. No, I am very excited to do all of them. They're super cute. So yeah, doing my own color conversion. You can see I've lightened the tree. What else have I done? Just kind of brightened everything a step, except for the cardinal. Apparently, the deepest bar in red. It's got to be like country, whatever that color is. Anyways, yeah, I've got all the other fabrics pre-cut and ready to go in there. I've got my conversion sitting there. Just didn't go any farther with it. It's pretty though. I love Prairie Schooler. I'm really kind of entering a Prairie Schooler phase. I don't have a ton started, just a few, but I've loved what I've worked on. And yeah, this is another little house in the attic. I don't know why I bothered to print this glorious black and white rendition of it, since it tells you nothing about the chart. But here's what I have stitched. It's a mountain scene with a lake below and the brush. Another one with tons of back stitching, and it takes a lot of focus. It's really easy to get lost, and there's half stitches and blends, and so it's pretty slow going, but I think it'll be really beautiful when it's done. Okay, let's see here. My stack is quite tall. That's fine. Okay, we just saw this. If you are one of my regulars, this will be old news. This is Garden Party Warm. I hadn't worked on it in a couple of years, and then last month I pulled it out and gave it a solid few days and made great progress on it. It's so cute. I haven't worked on it anymore, but you'll see why in my next video. It's so cute though. All the happy colors. It's a 28 count, even weave of some kind, 2/2. A lot of starting and stopping with this one, because she'll throw a couple of colors or a couple stitches of a color into a spot just to kind of blend the ombre flow of the colors. But so it can be a little fiddly, but sure is fun. They sure are pretty. Should keep that one out. I was gonna keep working on that. Oh, High Tide, you goob. So this is High Tide by Rosewood Manor, which is gorgeous. I bought it when I was in Florida a couple of years ago, right before we moved. I do not have as much work on it as I thought I would, but I have a counting error. So you'll see that this is running directly into that shell. It has to come out. This is in the wrong spot, which has affected the placement of this. And I had considered just leaving this and adjusting counting off of the shell, because that would be so quick to pull out. But there's another shell that sits here and another one that sits next to that, and they'll just be too squishy. It won't look intentional. It'll look squishy. And without creating a ripple effect of adjustments, I'm just gonna have to pull that up. So it's okay. It's not that much, really. It'll take 10 minutes when I get around to doing it. It's just an emotional barrier right now. Not helped by the fact that summer is dead to me. I just want autumn. And I probably have a good 2 months to wait, because if it's anything like last year, hopefully it won't be. Hopefully we have a fine, full and fat, wet autumn, followed by a cold, precipitous winter, because we sure need it. But that being said, last year was hot and dry, and it didn't cool off until, I swear, November. Ew. It's unacceptable. This is Summer at the Shore by Cottage Garden Samplings. You've already seen this. If you're this is another one that I just worked on last month. Finished the seagull and stitched the lighthouse, most of it. And I've not worked on it again. I thought I might jump down into that water, because that is full coverage. Look at that baby. But I was content to leave it where it is. So that's probably the attention it will get this year. This is Summertime Magic by Flossie Fox Shop. I love her pixelated stuff. It's so cute. I think I'm just gonna stitch this much of it. I have the dragon done. I had started it for a dragon themed stitch along, and even a water dragon is a dragon. Yeah, it's cute. I did work on, I think I've added like the clouds and the trees and, you know, some sky stuff more recently than not, but not a lot of work into this one. It's so cute. I don't know why. I think it would go really quickly if I buckled down and did it, but it's just waiting for its moment. It's just one of those. It's just waiting for its moment. Another Flossie Fox Shop. They live in the same bag. This is Cozy Post-Apocalypse, which was part of her Patreon last summer. I'm no longer in her Patreon. I kind of bounce around like a hot potato. Either carrying a couple or not being in any, but this is my start on 14 count Ada by Atomic Ranch. The color is Bayou, which is gorgeous. It felt appropriate for an apocalypse. Those are cute, but they're moods, right? All stitching is a mood, so the mood will strike. It's so fun. I love cross stitching. All right, this one got a lot of work. This was a new start this year. Quaint Rose Needle Arts, Independence. There's also a spooky mansion, and now I'm aware that there's a Christmas mansion or house of some kind, and I want that one too, because they're really fun. They're really, really fun. This is where I am. I mean, if I had started it a couple weeks earlier, I might have finished it. I just enjoyed it so much. I think I'm doing this with all the called for. I haven't made any changes. I just coffee dyed some flax linen to give it a little bit of warmth, help my eagles' heads pop a little bit more. Super cute. I love that color red. I think it's ribbon red. Yeah, juicy. Okay. Why did I set that there? We don't know. All right. Gotta watch my timer here. It's good. We're making it through summer. So this is Summer in the Village. I believe this is what it's called. Yes. It is a free chart off of Owl Forest Embroidery. Super cute. I'm so excited to get some of those trees in there. Get down into this garden. Really, really fun. I am not yet, but I made good progress. When I pulled it out, I added this tall bush and then everything here. I just had the house when I picked it up this year. I'm doing a color conversion from stash, but it's based upon their image. So I'm not rewriting anything necessarily. I'm just doing it out of what I have. Lovely. Those little chicks, they're so cute. So cute, so cute. Need more drinks. I actually forgot I started this one. So it's a sad start. This is the queen bee. I think I gave her a small start when I finished or had pulled out. Perhaps it was when I pulled out Hive Rules, which I then finished. And that could be why I didn't go any farther than the top of her bun on Vintage Country Mocha with the called for colors. She's gonna be gorgeous. I love her. She's just gonna pop and be so warm and lovely on this fabric. But that being said, we are quickly fading out of sunflower bees and summer vibes in my brain. So we'll see her again next year. This was a start. Oh my gosh, it's so ratty. This is Honey Bear. It's an old sunset kit that I bought new when I was probably a teenager, young or child. I don't know how old I was when I got it. I've had it for forever. I've been toting it around even through my non-cross-stitching years. I've stitched a companion piece to it that hangs on my wall up here. I swapped out the fabric for an even weave, and that's my start from last year. Just right in the jar of honey on his yes, we're good. Okay. I was looking at that. I was like, that's way too much gray. There is backstitching over the label. That's the label. Oh, it's fine. It is actually a jar of honey in his wagon. So pretty. It's so cute. I just skipped. I usually stitch my bees and, you know, kind of these vibes in late summer, so August. We're right in the midst of when I would normally stitch these. But I just want to stitch autumn things. So here we go. Breaking all the rules. All right. Flag Flock by Plum Street Samplers. I did not work on this year because I was too busy working on Independence. But it's on Feldspar, and I am doing a conversion from stash just to get going on it. It'll be really cute on this fabric, I think. That flag will pop. That miles long flag. It's cute. Cute, cute, cute. If you are noticing, because there are a couple, any projects that are not being featured that you've seen in previous WIP parades that you're like, Laura, you did not finish that. Well, how observant of you. I have UFO'd a few. Some of them because of fabric choice, some of them because I haven't worked on them in a bajillion years and I just don't know that I will. And I don't normally UFO things. I don't. This is the patriotic tiny town, which has the piddliest of starts on a sand Lugana. Ooh, ah. Anyways, yes, so there are a few that have been UFO'd that will not be seen ever again, most likely, or that have been UFO'd and need a restart, like our fairies in jail down there. Straight to jail. Okay. I have 15 minutes. I bet I could show you my nerdy stitches really quick. I bet I could. There are not a whole bunch. But but they are so very fun. And then when I come back for probably video number 2, since we're at an hour and 3/4, we'll jump into birds, samplers, autumn, Halloween, Christmas stuff. All those good things, all those vibes I'm feeling. I think I have to restart this one, you guys. So this was a New Year 12 by 12 start, Never Ending by The Primitive Hair. And I was, after ironing my fairies, I got to this one and I was like, Carmenus, did I start that with the wrong orientation? And yes, I did. But I'm not sure that I would have much margin even if I turned it. So, fortunately, you know, it's like, what, 50 stitches? That's not much. I can, maybe 100 stitches. I can pull that out, use this for something else, and restart it. I love this chart. This was part of last year's market, and it's just so classic. It's so good. Stitching is a never-ending story, and aren't we glad? Okay. Oh, this is a sad one too. I have too many sad projects. This is not acceptable. This is Sailor Moon, Rainbow Transition. She's so pretty. I can't wait to get into her hair. Right now we have a ghosty, weird little bug face. Cute, right? I thought this was 36 count fabric. I don't know why. When I started this. She's gonna be like right to the edge. So, we have not worked on her more. She's in time out while I decide where to go from here. Either finish her with not a very big margin and try to do some kind of soft finish or something, which I could do. I could finish her into a cross-stitch bag or a wall hanging kind of situation, but yeah, I don't know. Bubble popped. Let's just put it that way. We'll figure it out. We always do. Una Buena Pieza. I love her charts. I have, I think, 3 on the go right now. This is one of them, UFO and Rabbit. Isn't it adorable? I didn't work on it this year. I just, like I said, winter and spring were tough for me this year, so I didn't pull it out. But this is where it is. On a white linen 2/2 with called for flosses correctly stitched, I might add. Which sounds odd, but all of this green background I literally had to pull out because I had stitched it in like this darkest green, and the whole point is that the UFO light ray is coming down over the bunny, and then all of the forest around it is in shadow. So I had totally messed with the effect there, and it had to come out. But it's back, it's fixed, and last year I came up and started that arch, and it's so much fun. So much fun. I love this piece. I didn't do any sci-fi stitching this summer. I normally do sci-fi July to get a bit done. I love it. It's so much fun. This was not my year for that. I don't know. With baby coming, little cute nugget that he is, and here's another Una Buena Pieza. This is Space Sky. And then having company for a month, I didn't have energy for it. I worked on what I worked on, and I feel really good about that. I made good progress on other things, but I was just not as structured as I might have otherwise been, and so some things just did not get worked on, and sci-fi was one of them. That's okay. I love them all. I don't really want them to go away quickly, so it's all good. This is that book that the bugs came from, Cross Stitch Happy Days. And this is the chart, the second chart I'm working on from it. I love everything. I want to stitch this whole book. And this is where I am. Cute. I feel like I just stopped in the middle of a thought, and now I don't remember what the thought was. My last Uno Bueno PS, apparently they're all clustered together. I call this Dino DNA. It's actually called Dinosaur Landscape. So, proper names. It's stitched on 32 count Mystic Fabrics Eris, which turns out to be quite tight, which is why I haven't done more. I think it'll be fine. It's going to be great for the chart for sure, because it has all these beautiful colors, and I can probably show you this. This gives you the scope of it without like good luck copying the chart from this, right? So you see you've got the volcanoes, you've got the Vegasauruses, and it goes clear down into the ocean and kind of some of the big aquatic dinosaurs and stuff. So lots of colors. It's going to be fabulous on this fabric. It's not tight enough that I want to give up. It's just tighter than a linen. And I'm sure there was some shrinkage when they dyed it. So it's going to be cute. We just have 3 pterodactyls, and one of them is missing a wing. So fancy. It's okay. My next Jurassic Park / Jurassic World marathon will get good progress. Okay, this is called Master Sword and Ocarina. It's a Legend of Zelda fan stitch on 32 count slate by Fabrics by Steph. And I'll have to pop in a picture. This always washes out. It is so... I did finally get a photograph of it that was a more accurate representation, but this looks terrible. Anyways, it's gonna be so cool. Like, this is the beginning of the Master Sword that sits here, and it's just waiting for Link to come find it so he can save Zelda. That troublesome wench. Okay. Now she's also a hero, so we can't be too hard on her. She's saved the world a couple of times too. Okay, my friends. That is the end of that section. Wait, but where's Totoro? Nope, we've got a couple more. Never mind. Oh, I didn't grab deeply enough. Okay. We're gonna fly through these last 5 or 6. Fly like the wind, bullseye. Cross stitch makes everything okayer, which I'm doing a conversion on. This is on fabric. I think it's lightly salted. Yeah, not roasted. Lugana, bestitch me. It's gonna be cute. I'm going to do more peachy flowers, which I think will be fun. And, ooh, this is the quick and dirty version. This is Totoro in Hydrangea, which is a pattern I got off of Etsy. It is no longer available. I feel really bad. I think it's one of the reasons I've not worked on it, because I want to share what I work on with you guys, but I feel guilty sharing patterns that aren't available. I need to just get over it and finish it, and then I don't have to worry about it. And it can be on my wall. He's so sweet. I need more Studio Ghibli stitches in my life. This was a New Year, or 12 by 12 start, which is basically New Year. It took forever to make a conversion from Cosmo flosses, which is what this is charted in, and I'm still not sure I'm happy with some of my choices. But we have a mushroom cap. This guy with the glasses right there. And we're just gonna see how it goes. I would have thought I would pull this out, but I think these bright happy mushrooms read a bit more spring to me, so we know how that went. This is not the Magister yet, by... I don't think it's available, so it probably doesn't super matter. I got it off of Etsy. Mandarinks. It's so pretty. I love it. I've not been watching enough Star Wars to get any farther on it though. This is where I am. Eyes and an ear. You can see it's a lot of confetti stitching, which I'm fine with. It does take a little bit more focus, but it's always worth it in the end. Ugh. I love a good confetti moment. They're just so satisfying when it all comes together. This is on, what fabric is this? Cauldron by Picture This Plus. I stitched my turkey on this. This is the other half of that fat quarter. Okay. Moving quickly because now we're racing my ride. Let's cuddle and watch Star Trek, which I'm stitching on red. It's supposed to be a full coverage, but one of my brilliant viewers was like, why wouldn't you just stitch it on red fabric? I was like, I don't know. Let's do that. That's brilliant. So here we are. Let's almost It's not hard. I just have to be in the mood for stitching white. It'll be really fun. Look at my Star Trek bag. With space inside. This is one of those ones that I had started. I'm going to restart it on different fabric. So I'm not even gonna go into deep depth with that, but it's one of the ones you might be missing. I had a couple of Star Trek ones and I'm restarting some of them. But not Let's Cuddle. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be awesome, just as it is. Okay, last? Yes, last. This is another Etsy purchase that's no longer available. The shop has closed. But this is Stitching Land, Starry Night, which I just love. But same details that I feel bad. I have in the past felt bad. I'm choosing not to anymore. We're just gonna keep going, showing you patterns that aren't available, but we're just gonna keep going. So I've got the mountains in, well, the first part of the mountains, got some of that space going in. It is a full coverage little beastie, so you know, lots of stitching to go yet. I should have worked on it while my mom was here. We definitely in the evenings, somehow through the bleary-eyed bodies that we were, we watched the entire Alien universe. Oh, that was the first half of her visit. I really liked the first one. And I wish they'd done the third in the prequel, because I feel like those were really well done. But there are definitely some dumb movies in there. That set. Oh, they all have their place. It's fine. It's all good. Okay, my friends, that is part one. We'll come back with part two after my outing. And yeah, that'll be awesome. Thanks for hanging in with me, hanging out with me, sharing my stitchy happiness here. And I'm excited to show you the second half because it's my favorite half. I love all of the ones I've shown you, but my favorite season of stitching is the last quarter of the year. So, yes, we'll be back. Take care of yourselves. Happy stitching!